Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me. And I am back. I'm back with the finale of What If Isagi had a street baller weapon. As always, if you enjoy, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I appreciate all the support. Seems like y'all have been enjoying these Isagi what ifs, aka these blue lock what ifs. They've been a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of creative ideas that can be done in blue lock. I am thinking about doing a couple what ifs coming soon in terms of blue lock, but more of like a shorter video, maybe like a 9 to 12 minute video where it's more of a like highly edited video, so it's not like these long storytelling ones. Not sure yet. I haven't really decided what I want to do for those, or if I want to do those. But yeah, that's about it. I don't need to say much more. And let's get into the finale of What If Isagi had a street baller weapon. Let's get it. Isagi's team, built up of Nagi and Bachira, take on Rin, Aru, and Tokimitsu. Now, this team is a scary one, at least in terms of the numbers that are on their shoulders. But in terms of what Isagi could do and what his team can do, well, they are a giant unknown, a massive unknown. Because at the end of the day, Rin hasn't seen Isagi, and at the end of the day, Isagi, he's a bit unpredictable. And let's see if Rin can really read the field when Isagi's going to show him things that he's never seen before. Quickly, Isagi's team would jump out to a quick start, immediately passing it between Bachira and Isagi. Seemingly, they're in pretty good sync. Not perfect sync, but pretty good sync. Isagi's still a step ahead, or maybe even 2 steps ahead in terms of his dribbling, and also the unorthodox ability to pass the ball and really score from many different angles. Isagi would do a quick pass to Nagi, as Nagi would begin to actually utilize the same style that Isagi is using. When he jumps up in the air to control the ball, he begins to control it in a brand new way. A way that, well, Isagi can see is very, very inspired by just his way of dribbling and controlling the ball. At the end of the day, Nagi is seen, or Isagi sees Nagi as someone who could definitely benefit from some street ball. And Nagi's control over the ball, well, it's a pretty good indicator that Isagi is right about Nagi's ability to control the ball mid-air, but be so creative with it, it would lead to a goal for himself, putting them up 1-0. But Isagi would see that Rin seems to be just straight up downloading, as if he's kind of trying to read the field and learn what's going on. But then Rin would do something extremely unorthodox, kicking the ball straight up off of kickoff and scoring a goal for his team, putting them, well, tied up 1-1, in which this would surprise Isagi, thinking that he didn't really expect someone like Rin to be unorthodox. This isn't something that, well, normally happens. Nobody just kicks the ball off a kickoff to score a goal. It's a little risky, so he's surprised that Rin, of all people, especially someone like him, the way he acts and the way he, well, promotes himself, he doesn't seem like someone to do something so unorthodox. So Isagi is pretty put off by this. But he would smile, and that insane crazed look in his eyes would return, because he would realize that Rin has a little bit of that unorthodox feeling to him, but he can do exactly what Rin just did. The next time they get the ball, he would do the same thing, kick the ball off from kickoff, and would score a goal for his team. He would look at Rin and even tell him that he could do exactly the same thing. He might not have the brains that Rin does, but he damn sure has the talent. And frankly, if we're talking about who can score goals from more directions and more unorthodox ways, he wins by a long shot. But Rin knows that it all comes down to knowing the field. They're down 2-1, but they need to abuse their advantages. Their advantages lie more or less with Tokumitsu and Aru, and even Rin hates to admit it, but it's the truth. So he does try to attack more or less Bachira, attack more or less Nagi, use the height of Aru, and also use the strength of Tokumitsu. But at the same time, well, Nagi and Bachira are feeding off of Isagi's grittiness of the way he plays street ball, and that's flat out the truth. His way of playing street ball, it's an amazing thing, because when Tokumitsu charges at Bachira, he would kind of fold the lawn chair. As Tokumitsu would try to barrel forward, Nagi would try to bait him into more or less giving up the ball, but as he does this, Tokumitsu would continue to stumble forward, not realizing that, well, Bachira kind of moved out of the way, forcing him to fall forward, stumbling just enough where Bachira is able to poke the ball out and steal it from him. Rin is shocked to see this, not believing the style of football they're currently playing, and thinking that it's so weird. Why are they playing like that? It's nothing they've ever seen before. And when Isagi gets the ball back, it's proof that it's just straight up something they've never seen before. Because his dribbling style that he breaks out right in front of Rin, let's just say, Rin's never seen something like it. He begins to use his graffiti style dribbling. It looks like he's going one way, but he's actually going the other. But out of nowhere, it's a double fake, maybe a double back. He acts like he's going right, but then Rin tries to predict it by going the other way, but he actually does go right. Now this is so unorthodox. It's as if it's literally like cursive, like a random person just drawing or writing cursive everywhere, and you don't really know how the cursive is going to come out. You don't know if it's going to be a bunch of squiggly lines or full letters. And that's exactly what Isagi is doing, being unpredictable. He would score a goal, putting them up 3-1, and Rin doesn't even know what to do at this moment. He sees that Isagi is the core factor of all of this, but he can't get a grasp on how to beat him. How does he stop him? He's just so unorthodox to the point that it feels like his knowledge of soccer means absolutely nothing. And Rin would be right. His knowledge of soccer means jack all right now. It doesn't mean anything. Now he needs to realize he needs to go off of his intuition. He needs to go off of not what he knows, but what he can feel on the field. That's how he needs to beat Isagi. And that's how he's going to make sure to stop him. And frankly, it's going to be difficult for Isagi's team to stop them now. Now that they've seen most of the tricks they have defensively, Isagi may be gritty in terms of covering Rin, and raw strength and honestly aggression will not save anybody from Isagi. But at the same time, Rin would eventually find his goal, just like how he would always. He finds his goal. And after thinking about what Isagi's team is kind of built of and what he's doing, he's able to find a way to stop it. He finds a way to cut down on the unpredictability of Isagi. And frankly, it's a matter of him just not thinking as much. Don't sit there and overthink things, just do. And that's exactly what he does. He's able to kind of situate himself perfectly and stop Isagi. And he's able to stop him in his tracks. This would surprise Isagi, but a smirk would gain over his face and he would smile and he would be happy about this. Eventually, Rin would obviously, like I said, would get his goal, putting them only down 1 point. Being that it's 3-2, there's a feeling of kind of uncertainty go over Isagi's team. How are they going to win this? I mean, this looks like Rin's kind of keeping up, but Nagi would tell Isagi that it seems like, well, it's his turn to show off. In which Isagi couldn't be happier to hear this, because at the end of the day, this excites him. Someone like Nagi, a prodigy, someone that is absolutely insanely good at the game, but didn't really love it. But now he does. Now he's hyped up. And now he's playing the type of football that he should have been playing from the very beginning. And that's exactly what he's going to be doing now. Nagi takes a book out of Isagi's more or less playbook and taking the dribbling but adding his own spin to it. His ability to dribble using that sort of graffiti style of dribbling that Isagi does, but at the same time, his absolute control over the ball makes it even more unpredictable. Yes, Isagi's dribbling may look better and maybe quicker and more speedy, but Nagi's ability to stop the ball at will makes him so difficult to guard. And Aru has every trouble in the world guarding it. Ren sees this and thinks to himself that there's no way they have two of them. They already had to deal with the unpredictability of Isagi, but now they have to deal with Nagi? He thinks to himself that he can't guard both of them. He has to hope that he could somehow just catch him in his blind spot or stop him right before he could score a goal and try to play off of that. But Isagi, he's no dummy. He's not an idiot. He knows how to play the game the right way as well, and he knows how to just basically kind of strategize with his teammates. And his teammate Nagi, well, he's ready for a takeover, and Isagi is willing to give it to him. And when Rin tries to go and trap Nagi, his only way out is Isagi. And when that ball comes over to Isagi, and it's not a good pass, Isagi would jump in the air, and he would look just like the one and only prodigy Nagi. He would control the ball mid-air, trapping it, and then throwing it backwards more or less with his foot, and then shooting it with the back of his heel. And this would be a beauty shot, and it would put them up 4-2. Rin at this point doesn't even know what to do. He's not sure. He thinks that the match right now might be close to over. He's frustrated. He believes that Isagi isn't necessarily better than him. It's the team that he built is far better than the team that Rin built. Rin was so used to being so much better than everyone else, so he just picked up the two best people he could find. Isagi built his team around him. He had one Bachira, someone who has amazing dribbling, a beautiful pass, and on top of that has kind of the instincts of a street baller, someone who wants to have fun and kind of just go buck wild. Nagi, someone who has perfect ball control and has some insane athletics, and frankly, in a way, Nagi can play like a street baller too, just not to the degree of Isagi and Bachira. But at the same time, it's almost impossible to guard them, especially once Bachira learns to break free of Tokumitsu, because that was the issue. Tokumitsu was a difficult task to get by, and frankly, there was no correct way to solve that puzzle. But once he was able to break free from Tokumitsu, it was kind of just over. I mean, he wasn't able to break free every single time, but all it takes is one. He breaks free one time, and just like that, the advantage would skyrocket. The advantage for Isagi's team, and the advantage for Nagi, Bachira, and Isagi altogether would show in all of its glory. And Isagi's team would win 5-2. Absolute domination. Rin would be shocked, but at the same time, all these ideas would be flowing through his head. He would think to himself that he always thought this was such a brutish and dumb way of playing football. He's seen the street ballers, he's seen how they played on the streets and how they did this or that, but he never thought that these people would be that good. Maybe Isagi is just the best of them all. Rin would stand there just in shock and wouldn't even hear them say that they wanted Rin on their team. They would explain to Rin that there's many reasons why, but the main reason, and Isagi says, is that once he learns street ball in its entirety, there is no surprising him on the football field. He'll know everything. Everything will look like it's in slow motion. And Rin would say that he doesn't need their help to evolve and get better, but Isagi says that their chemical reaction won't be just an explosion. It's going to be far, far more than that. It's going to be an explosion as great as the sun. Isagi says this, and Rin would ignore him as he walks away, and Isagi would laugh, saying that he doesn't have to be so hard-headed about it. I mean, come on now. Let's have some fun. And Rin would just ignore him, and he wouldn't have a choice at the end of the day. Eventually, they would need to speak. But the next game they play, let's just put it simply. It doesn't matter who they play. It doesn't matter who they go against. It doesn't matter who their competition is. Their competition would be the two people from Rin's old team, being that of Aru, Tokomitsu, but also a team of Chiguri and Reo. Not much conversation would happen, but a small tidbit about Kunigami would be spoken about. Isagi would question it and ask where he is, but it's quickly learned that he kind of just dropped off. And they're all kind of shocked by this, or at least Isagi's team is, except for Rin, because, you know, Rin doesn't even know who the hell that is, but Isagi is a little bit. But Isagi says that at the end of the day, if you get booted off, it just means you were unworthy and you were just unable to keep up with the ones at Blue Lock. Unfortunately, there's no sympathy in this game, and at the end of the day, they all are gunning for the #1 striker role. And Rin would agree with this, saying that's the first time he's heard something come out of Isagi's mouth that actually made sense. And Isagi says that he's smart, you know, he might not be as smart as everyone else, as Rin, probably smarter than Bachira, but Bachira would then slap him on the back, saying that's not nice to call people dumb, but Isagi says that he's not calling him dumb, he's just calling him not smart. Bachira would slap himself in the face, and then kind of slap Isagi in the back of the head once again, and tell him to be quiet. Isagi would laugh about this, but Rin would just say that they already are proving his point. But the game would begin, and it would be an absolute domination. It wouldn't be close. And I hate to say it, that's just the case. Already, the team of Bachira, Nagi, and Isagi was so perfectly coordinated, or at least so just chemically inducive of an actual explosion, that it just worked so well. They were like the perfect trio, or at least one of the perfect trios, and frankly, it's just the fact of the matter. Absolute fireworks would come out of them. So when you add someone like Rin, and when he finally decides to, you know, figure out this whole street ball thing, giving him kind of a brand new way of looking at the football fields, it's practically unstoppable. Isagi does try to get him to learn his way of dribbling, and they did work on that, or he did try to get him to work on that during their little training sessions, but Rin would say that his dribbling style is just stupid. Yeah, it may be hard to read, but that takes insane amounts of energy, and not many people have that type of stamina, and it's pretty obvious that's the case. They saw how tired Nagi was after the game. The only person that really wasn't tired at all was Isagi. Isagi does say that he runs like crazy to get insane endurance, but he would also tell Rin that he does the same. He has insane work ethic, so there's no reason why he won't be able to utilize the dribbling style. And this game would be over very quickly, and once Rin decides to experiment just a little bit, experimenting with that dribbling style that Isagi was speaking about, showing even more in his repertoire, whew, it is insane. Rin seems like an unstoppable force, but at the same time, with the addition of Rin to the team of Isagi's team, everybody else gets better as well. Rin's not just more or less just jumping ahead. Isagi is getting so much better from learning the way that Rin looks at the game, how he utilizes basically spaces on the field, and how he utilizes blind spots to get open goals or open passes. Isagi can now use this with his unorthodox way of scoring goals, and frankly, it's gonna be a freak of nature on the field. After they beat their little team 5-0, and frankly Isagi's team would just dominate, they do pick up Chiguri. That decision is pretty easily made, especially because of how fast Chiguri really is. The next test, though, that, well, Isagi's team would have would be against the World 5. Yeah, the World 5. It's kind of an insane task. I mean, we're talking about the best players in the world, and they got to take them on as a team. This is kind of odd. And it would get off to a pretty interesting start, even though, well, Rin was talking a lot of smack, and, well, frankly, it feels like that's just a Rin thing to do, but they do come out and score a quick goal. Rin does score an early goal, and it feels like they might actually have some sort of advantage. I mean, this is kind of crazy to think about, but maybe they do. But soon after, reality would kind of give them a bit of a wake-up call, because that Rin goal, it wasn't a fluke necessarily, but defensively, there is no stopping that team. They try to stop them. Isagi actually can keep up just a little bit, especially with his way of defending, but no, they can't stop him. They score goal after goal, but even Isagi kind of gets another goal in there on his own. He gets one in there with the unorthodox dribbling of his graffiti dribbling, and all of them even try to muscle Isagi, but his grittiness pushes him all the way through, and they're even impressed with the kid, and they're pretty shocked overall. They would score maybe a couple more goals. It would probably end up being 5-3, but let's just say the game didn't really feel close. Not even really remotely. Yes, it might have sounded, oh, it was 5-3, so it was kind of close, but that's just not the case. Just because something is close in score, it didn't mean that the World 5 even fell in trouble. Frankly, the World 5 wasn't really trying as a team, and if they decided, oh, well, let's try as a team, I mean, it probably would have just been flat-out domination the entire way. With that said, though, they weren't really made to win this game. They weren't. Rin is torn up about it, but Isagi's actually happy. The experience is good enough for him, and he's excited to see how far along he'll come for whatever's next in the next selection. And soon, well, they will hear about that next selection. Many people would walk through those doors, and Isagi would hear from Jinpachi Ego that the next test will be the U20 match. They'll be taking on some of the best in Japan, including the one and only Itoshi Sai. Isagi would look at Rin, then look back at him, and then look at him, and then look back at the picture, then look back at Rin, and then look back at the picture, and he would look back at Rin. Hey, you guys look pretty similar. Like, really similar. I don't like his red hair, though. Looks kind of weird. Just me? Rin would kind of look at him and tell him to shut up, but Isagi would say that it seems like he has bad blood with his brother. He looks at Rin one last time and says, just because he has bad blood doesn't mean that they won't stomp his brother to the ground. He promises him that his brother, he'll know exactly what Blue Lock is all about, because he has no idea what's coming. Because at the end of the day, you can watch all the film in the world. You can watch everything you possibly can, predict, try to study up on whatever they can do. But once that chemical reaction occurs and that nuclear bomb gets set off, there is no stopping them. And Isagi makes this clear. For the first time ever, Rin smirks as if he's convinced by Isagi that they're going to smash his brother into the ground. And many others that are there tell them to not leave them out of it. And Jinpachi Ego would say that they have some more things to attend to before the U20 match, because they need to find out who exactly deserves to be on that team. So, in the words of Ego, he says, let's now get to work. But that is where the story will end, at least for now. With that said, I hope y'all enjoyed the finale of What If Isagi Had a Street Baller Weapon, and I hope y'all continue to enjoy these. I might eventually, I am actually slowly but surely reading the Blue Lock manga. I might eventually end up going into the U20 match. I don't want to say that, like, that's not a definite thing. It's not a promise. I'm not sure yet. Normally for me, I just do anime. And most of the y'all who have been in this channel for a while know I really just do anime. And I rarely do manga stuff. So if it happens, it will definitely have to be like a special little thing. Maybe later on, I'll go through all my series or something, do like 6 separate videos and do like manga editions for all of them. I don't know how they'll do, right? I don't know how they'll do in terms of growth and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe I'll like rename them for that. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on any more than that. Like I said, hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.